Hello, it's so nice to be back. I wish you a happy new year. We're going to do a project today that is a winter snow scene, which we aren't really having that much of a winter snow scene this year, but we can sort of imagine it. And actually, I'm okay with no snow on the ground. Makes life at the farm much easier. Okay, so we need several things. We're going to do this in 2 steps. And so we need several things for our first step, and then I'll go over the list for the second step when we get to that point. I provided an 11 by 14 piece of mixed media paper, and we should have this portrait. And this is a painting of looking out. We're snug as a bug in our house, and we're looking out the window and looking at the snow and the trees and that kind of thing. So the first thing that you need to do is to hamburger fold it, because we want a center horizontal line going through the middle. Okay, so that will be our guide for our painting. Okay, so for the first step, you need watercolors. Again, I have my tube watercolors, but you can use either tube or the cake watercolors. I've got a pencil. You need a wider, bigger brush, as well as some smaller ones. So I've got a set of brushes, and water and paper toweling. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a horizon line between the snow-covered ground and the sky and the snow coming down. So I want this to be about halfway between the line that we just folded and the bottom of your paper. Okay. So, and we want it to be a nice kind of, doesn't need to be a flat horizon line at all. And so I'll make mine a little bit darker so you can see that. Okay, so sorry, I had a little sneezing attack there. Had to turn the video off for a little bit. But so what we're doing is we're going to have a variety of colors of blue, and I've got a purple here. And with your larger brush, we're going to be blending this. We did some projects in the past where we were blending different colors together, and that's what we're going to be doing with this project as well. And I don't want you to make it too soupy, but we're going to have it all the way down to our horizon line. Okay, and then we're going to start putting some color on. And again, these are watercolors, so you want to have them flowing off your brush. And you're going to have to work fairly quickly. If it dries up on you, you can just add a little bit more water to it. And you want to paint all the way out to the edges, because that's going to be our window frame. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go with the lighter blue first. Okay, and then I'm going to mix some of my darker blue. And because it's darker, I'm going to make it a little, I'm going to add more water to it. Let them blend together. You know how a stormy sky can be darker in places, right? Oops. Guess my cat was sitting on the paper. Darn critters. There we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the darker blue again. So it's getting a little darker as we're going down, and then blending them in. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of the purple to my blue, my dark blue. A little more water. Now, I'm not really sure where these little specks are coming from, but I'm going to get those off of there as much as possible. Okay, I like it that it has a little bit of, you know, it's not a solid piece of sky, right? We've got some different colors going on here. So the next thing that you need to do is let this dry. So I'm going to turn off the video for just a little bit while I let it dry. Okay, so what I did as I'm waiting for the sky to dry, I have taken some gray watercolor and I've worked on, I don't know if you can see that right there. I just did a little bit of shading right in there over the edge. And then I did a little bit darker right here on the on where the land meets the sky, just to give that a little bit of pop. So you can do that, and then we'll let this all dry some more. Okay, I had this started, and then my camera went off. I don't know what the deal is, but we're working with, I'll backtrack on what I was saying. We're working with acrylic paints, and I provided black and white paint for you for this project. And so you're going to take your pencil and draw the trunks of some trees. You can have them all along the ridge line. I'm just going to have a couple of groupings of them, and you just don't want them to go up all the way up to your middle line that we started the project with, the fold line. Okay, so we're just going to start at the bottom of the tree. These are evergreens because they're easy to do. And you're just going to make little lines, little curved lines. They don't have to be perfect. I'll show you over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one's a little guy. Whoops, needed to start that up at the bottom. Okay, so then you want to clean out your brush real well, and you can put some snow on it. Now, I have a vanilla ice cream is the closest that I can get to white paint at home. I thought I had another bottle of paint, but I don't. I do know I sent some over to you all. So I'll just use my little off-white paint and nobody's going to notice. Okay, so you can do a couple of different things. You can make just small dots. Which I think I'm going to stick with since, so this obviously is, we're giving the illusion of snow coming down. Or if you want to paint, actual snowflake shape, you can do that as well. And you want these to be kind of random, both in size and in position. I didn't really like that little mark back there, so I'm putting a dot on it so it's not so noticeable. I mean, you don't want to overdo it, right? But you can just kind of randomly. And have some up here at the top. All right. So now we have to let that dry, okay? And with the acrylic paints and the dots, it's going to take, a few minutes. So you can kind of clean up your paints. We're done with the paints now, and we can get out our supplies, which the supplies for the next phase of this project. I provided you with 2 different lengths of paper strips. Those are going to be our window panes. And then I provided you with a doily. So make sure you have those, and then we can move forward. For the doily, we don't need any of this, but we do need a glue stick, okay? And a pair of scissors. So while you gather those, you can turn off the video and then come back and start playing it again when you are when you have all of your supplies. Okay, so now that you have all of your supplies, we're going to take our doily first, and we're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to open it up, and then we're going to fold it the other way in half. So when you open it up this time, you should have 4 sections. Okay, and then you want to cut along your fold lines. So you should end up with 4 pieces. We're actually only going to use 2. So you can share a doily with somebody if you want, or you can, you know, just have that as extras. I decided not to use this one because I got a little bit of paint on it. So we can use that as a spare. Okay, so these are going to be window coverings on our picture. So we'll put those off to the side. And we can look at our 2 strips, again, while we're waiting for our paint to dry. And we've got one that is going to be the window, what is it called? I was going to say it's a frame, but maybe it is. I can't remember what it is. But it's going to go across horizontally, and then our other longer strip is going to go vertically. Okay, and you'll notice that there's a fold line here, so we're actually going to glue on the long one first, and then the shorter one to cover up that fold. Okay, and this one will cover up the fold in our on our background paper. Okay, so you still have some time to let, because whenever your paint looks wet, that means that it, or shiny, it means that it's wet. So I'm going to turn off the video for just a little bit, take a break, and when mine is dry, we'll reconvene. Okay, so my paint is dry, and I will first off take the long strip of paper and put it in the middle of the paper, of your paper. And it should, the fold, if in an ideal world, it looks like we're living in an ideal world today, the fold should match up here, and it should be the same. That looks pretty good. The same width on either side. Okay, so once you get it where you want it, then you will take your glue stick and then glue that on. Notice I went from the center out. That will reduce any wrinkles. Okay. And then you're going to put the next strip on, and it should be right, kind of that fold should be going right in the middle of it. Let's see how that's looking. This one's easier to position because you've got the fold there. Make sure it goes from side to side. There you go. Okay, then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our window coverings on here. Kind of old-fashioned. Drapes. Okay, so that's how it should be. So you want to put your glue, you know, and you might have to just dab it on the doily stuff part of it, because I'm afraid you might tear it. And then you want to line that up. And that looks good. If it has wrinkles in them, just work them out towards the edges. And if you have a little overhang here, you can just take scissors and trim that up a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to do it with the other piece. Stick it up in the corner. Now our paper has, you know, wrinkled and buckled a little bit. So I would suggest that after your glue dries that you put it under a heavy book, and then your paper will lay down flat. Okay. Again, if you have any hanging up, you can just snip it like that. There we go. And voila, we have a winter scene. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.